We are live, Terrance. You know what time it is, Terrance? What time is it?
Yep.
Terrance! Where you at, Terrance? Where you at? Peanut butter jelly! Peanut butter jelly! Get it, Terrance! Drop it! Drop it like it's hot, Terrance! Terrance takes a while to... I get him all riled up with the peanut butter jelly. See, it takes him a minute to come back down, don't it? Uh-oh. I was playing our thing, making sure it's working. Hey, Perry. Terrance.
Yeah.
You don't do that to me. I'm like, because you know sometimes how it messes up. You scared me. I was like, oh, Lord, we're frozen. We're frozen, Terrance, because you wasn't saying nothing.
Oh, no, I was just looking at what was going on
the
side.
Comments? You want to see who's here? Perry's already here. Talk about, hey, brother Terrance.
Yep, how you doing?
Heavy Duty Smokes is here. Heavy Duty. And some people were, I was just telling you, Terrance, some people were asking, like in my comments earlier, where they weren't asking, they were just saying, they were like, I'm just waiting for you and Terrance tonight. I'm going to be watching. Like Abe. Do you remember Abe?
Oh, yep.
So Abe was talking about, and then I know Doughboy was on my live Wednesday night. So I know he's going to be here. So I think, Terrance, people are starting to look forward to our discussions.
Yep, that's good, yep.
Well, why'd I say starting to look forward? They do look forward to our discussions, right? That's what I meant. So we can't ever stop.
Oh, we won't.
But Terrance, I got to tell you something.
We've done like 20 some odd videos together. We killing it. We killing it more than what most humans will do with their streams.
Really?
When they do collaborations. And you also take in consideration that this happens, once a week. So, and we still, for the most part, we eclipse everyone else in terms of the consistency, and then how much, and then over the spanning of different things. So, we just starting, so I'm not worried about it yet.
Perry said he subscribed to your channel, Terrance.
Oh, yep. Appreciate you, Perry.
Well, Terrance, I got to tell you, the next 2 Fridays, I'm out of town.
Oh, yep. What you going to be up to?
Well, I forgot when we were planning our chat for the next Friday, I forgot I had already made plans to go out of town for the weekend because it's Mother's Day weekend and it's my daughter's birthday weekend. So we're going to take like a little family mini trip, and I'm going to leave like Friday afternoon and come back like Mother's Day, that Sunday. So I'll be gone that Friday.
Hey, that's okay, Amanda. You do.
Maybe though we can make it like the Thursday night. Maybe like the night before we can change it. If you are able to, I think I'll have to double check, but I think I'll be okay to like come live Thursday night.
Okay, yeah, we'll see what's up with that. Just once it gets close, then we'll communicate back and forth and then see what's going on.
And then the next Friday, Terrance, I just got an email yesterday from Allegiant Air. You ever heard of them? It's an airline.
I'm not sure.
Well, they contacted me because they've been watching my Instagrams. Because I've been putting, Terrance, now Instagram has this IGTV thing, right? Yeah. IGTV it's called. So I've been clipping my reactions down, for a couple minutes. Like reaction, not just me talking. Because look, we aren't even on Avengers Endgame yet. I get chatty. I know. So I clip it down and put it on the IGTV. And they've been doing really good. They've been doing good. Yeah. So, this airline contacted me, wants to fly me to Las Vegas, Terrance. Right. They're flying me to Las Vegas, but I'm supposed to watch it, for a concert. Florence and the Machine. Do you know who they are?
I do, very much.
Do they sing good stuff?
I'm not going to say they're one of my favorites, but they have a couple things that I like.
Like, would I know any of the songs?
Oh, shoot. I couldn't even
Love That Cat, you heavy duty.
It's like if you were to play some of their stuff, I can point out to you which ones I like, but I can't really call myself a fan.
Love you, Perry. Love you, Perry. Yeah, I might have heard. I never remember names or who sings what. I like music. I like music that I can shake my booty to, but I never pay attention to the. I don't even pay attention to the words. I don't even know the words. I just start making up stuff as they say.
To me, like for songs, the lyrics are important, or if it's just like a theme where
I just like
there are no words and it's just music, it just has to match whatever it's being applied to.
Yeah. So anyway, they want me to put it on my Instagram. Like all they do, they want to send me there to Vegas and I can bring a friend. I know what you're going to say, Terrance. Don't even say it. You're going to invite me? No, my husband's going with me.
No, that makes sense. You know, you got to take the husband.
It'll be
Terrance
a fun
gets
week.
left behind. I understand. I get
it. But it's nice because my husband never gets to go on any of the stuff because I could never bring anybody. Like on the, you think they don't let me bring anybody on the red carpets and all that. They're like, you can come. You can come as a journalist. Right. So this was a chance I got to bring him. So I'm excited. And I'm going from Thursday to Sunday.
Okay.
So I'll be in Vegas. Worries. So that night, but maybe we might have to just skip that week because I'll be gone Thursday too. But I think next week we'll come back Thursday, do the Thursday night. But anyway, because we have plans, right? Right, Terrance? Because this week we're talking about, finally, we're going to talk about some Avengers and Endgame together. Finally. And then next week we're going to talk about Cobra Kai. Because I finished it, Terrance. I finished Cobra Kai.
I just got one more episode left.
That last Terrance.
I just finished episode 9 about 5 minutes before we did the stream.
Can I tell you? This is my pre-episode 10. Episode 10 was like episodes 1 through 9 on level of how good the episode is, all together in one.
Yeah, like
I'm just saying, episode 10.
I'll see, because right now I'm still settling on it's cool, but I'm still feeling season 1 more.
They are all like every episode of Cobra Kai season 2, 1 through 9 has led up to episode 10. It's like Endgame. It's like Endgame, Avengers Endgame. It's just been a build-up from Iron Man to all the Iron Man's Avengers, everything that led to Endgame. That's how Cobra Kai season or episode 10 is.
All right, yeah, I'll see how I feel, because depending on what I think, then maybe I'll increase it beyond cool. But right now, it's like it's fine. Like
that's how I felt. Possible. That's how I felt, Terrance. Look, Abe is here. I was just talking about you, Abe. I was just talking about you were leaving comments earlier saying you can't wait for our chat. And you came on the right day, I feel, because we're talking about some Avengers Endgame, ain't we, Terrance?
Right. So what we should do is we should break it down by the hour, because each hour is doing something different.
Terrance wants to break down each little scene. You can break down every scene, Terrance?
Well, we would need like 30 hours for that. But, in the sense of like trying to create some structure to it, we should start with the first hour and then go.
Well, let me ask you this, Terrance. Terrance, let me ask you this. Rating 1 through 10, what do you give it? Starting off, right off the bat, Terrance, I want to know, 1 through 10, what do you give it?
Oh, well, there's always going to be 2 for the comic book film. So, as a movie, I gave it a 9. And then as a comic book movie, I gave it an 8.9.
Terrance, that just rounds to 9. You either got to say 8.5 or 9, Terrance. There ain't no 8.9s in ratings.
It's only because
you can't give 0.9s.
There are so many details that I factor in. That's why. So
Terrance, we're rounded 2 9s. 2 9s, Terrance. That's what you get.
I'm still gonna settle on an 8.9.
No, I ain't taking it, Terrance. You give them both 9s. And
okay, well, if that's the case, then I gotta.
You gotta say 8.5. For a
comic book movie, I gotta go down to 8 then.
8. You can do 8.5. You can do 8.5.
Yeah, like because it would have to be if you want to round it off, it would have to be anywhere from an 8 to an 8.5.
Oh, Abe
Like I,
says, Abe, he says he wants a new Captain America movie of him what he did once he like returned.
oh, I okay. So how do you want to? Do you want to start with the first hour because I have a lot of stuff to say about Cap because he was messing up, but we'll get to that.
Abe gives it a 10 out of 10. So Abe, I say a 9.5 out of 10. You know how I'm leaning on my ratings too. I mean, I know Terrance is hard, but I'm saying I give it a 9.5 out of 10 because there's a little things I had some problems with. But overall, I did love it. I loved it overall. It was like the perfect movie to end like this phase or whatever of,
Well, actually, this is not the end of the phase.
Spider-Man is, which that's just dumb. That's dumb.
Well, I mean, we have to wait and see what Spider-Man Far From Home does.
But they even they even ended it like it's the end. Like, no, there was no like end credit scenes.
I honestly, I didn't, that's not my perspective on like when it ended, like this is the ending. I'm like, no, it is not. Like, but we'll get to
that. All right. So what? So, see, the first hour,
right.
Falcon comes on, right? I was like, this is it. His family's gonna dust. His family's gonna dust. Right here. His family's gonna dust. Like you expected that.
You're talking about Hawkeye.
Oh wait, yeah, that's what I meant. You know who I meant? Hawkeye with the arrows, not Falcon.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, oh, there he is. Huh?
How'd you feel about that?
I mean, I knew it was gonna happen. It was expected.
Now, with me, I was like, it's either going to be one or a couple. Didn't really see all of them going, but I was like, somebody's going to die because in the comics, when he turns into Ronin, it's always because of a tragedy.
And it was his like what really flipped him to that was like his family getting dusted, like right.
Right. So yeah, I'm like that.
So they took that like exactly from the comics.
Right. Well, I mean, there are different ways that he becomes Ronin.
Well, yeah.
Like sometimes it's family, sometimes it's a close friend, but the roundabout result is always some kind of a tragedy that sends him on that path.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And in the theater, I was like, damn, like saw that coming. Some people kind of laughed, but it was like they had like more of a nervous laughter because I was the one to verbally voice what I was thinking. Mm-hmm. So they were like, oh yeah, that's kind of messed up. So
I didn't notice that either. Like Abe said, nobody called him Ronin in the movie the whole time. I mean, you know he's Ronin.
No, because Ronin is his thing. They know him as Clint, as Hawkeye.
Okay, yeah.
So a lot of times when a persona is new to a person, they'll notice some changes, but they won't necessarily address them by that immediately. Like it takes time to kind of cement itself. So I wasn't really expecting them to go, "Hey, it's Ronin." It's like, no, that's Hawkeye, but something's wrong, and then that's when they found out what they found out. But yeah.
So what did you think about? I felt like it was predictable for me, the beginning stuff, because I was like, his whole family's going to dust here. Happened. And I predicted even from the trailer, I don't know if I had talked about it in my reaction videos, but I talked about it before, that scene after the first trailer where they showed the ship in space, just like hovering and Iron Man's right there and he's about to die. I was like, watch right there, like Captain Marvel comes in and like saves him. I called it. I felt like I called it. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, like I heard some people say that they thought that might happen or it might be one of the heroes do it. So when it happened, I was like, oh, okay. But I'm just glad that before it got to the cringy part, because it was kind of cringy when she was with the heroes and then, she had this attitude and I'm like, somebody needs to check her. And then War Machine checked her like, who the hell do you think you are? And like, I was glad that the Russo brothers put that in because to me, that was a scene where many fans that know these characters in the comics, like when you try to force feed us a character like this is supposed to be the most powerful thing, I'm just like, that is the biggest BS. Like so like that was just perfect. I'm like, thank you. Like
No.
it was like me and like 10 other people in the theater. We started clapping, and one dude, he stood up and because I said thank you from my seat. Another dude was like, that's right, thank you. Somebody tell her off, please. So that was nice. And then when
Y'all been wanting that to happen too. You've been wanting that to happen ever since you seen it in the first trailer. She was making you mad there. You were wanting. I think Josh would start with, oh, she better not, blah blah blah, come in here and then Captain Marvel, blah blah blah. So y'all were waiting a while. Y'all been waiting months to be like,
tell
her something.
I mean, like, I'm not going to speak for anyone else, but for me, it wasn't like I wasn't coming at it from like an anger perspective. It was just a knowledge perspective. I'm like,
I think it was an aggravation. Like it aggravated you to see that in like the trailer when you saw that in the trailer.
It was just more of like when something is just so inaccurate. I'm just like, it's more of a why, you know. So when they addressed that in that scene, I was like, good.
And the Russo brothers are smart because they put this stuff in the trailers just enough to get people mad and get them talking because, like, they do. It's like publicity, I think.
Yeah, because, and then, like, after that, when she was like, I'm going to go deal with Thanos, and to me, that was cringy. I'm like, you're not strong enough.
I don't like calling you Abe. You should be back to Doughboy. Why'd you change it to Abe? Why'd he change it to Abe, Terrance? That should be Doughboy.
I have no idea, but I mean,
But he likes him some Brie, he said. He likes him some Brie. Now, Terrance.
No, see, like Brie Larson as a person, I'm going to say this now, like, she's a bitch. The character's a whole other thing. Like, I'm not going to connect the real life person who's not all that good to a character. Like, I look at the character separately.
Yeah.
But in terms of that character, I'm like, the character is supposed to have a sense of arrogance, but it was just in the way that it was presented. It was kind of cringy because I'm like, every time in the comics when I would see her character, she would always act like hot stuff, and she got beat up all the time by everybody, all the time. Like in any situation where people depended on her, smack, going through walls and everything. So I'm like,
now, Terrance,
can we get to the meat? So then fast forward to when Thanos is going through his garden. I'm like, cool, they kept that because that's actually supposed to be the very end of that comic book storyline. It's supposed to be, it's just done. So I'm like, cool, he's on the garden. I like that they had the scarecrow. That was a nice Easter egg. I'm like, cool. And then we saw that he was hurt, and I was like, yeah, he's hurt. When you destroy the stones, you're going to be hurt.
And then he didn't have the gauntlet. And then he didn't have. Right. I figured, all right, you're hurt, this and that. But I was like, when he didn't have I was like, what? Where's it at?
Yeah.
Where's it
at? Yeah. So when they said he used the stones again, I was like, oh, okay. They said he used it to destroy the stones. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I didn't expect him to do that because he doesn't do that in the comics. So I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty interesting. I wonder what's going to happen now. So and then when they actually get to where he's farming, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's kind of the little nitbit that they were showing in the trailer, but then they cut it out so we couldn't see. And he's just chilling. He's getting like the pineapple and the tea and stuff. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a blast comes, and then Captain Marvel, she wraps herself around him. And I was just like, I mean, it was just people quiet. Like, we're like, what does that even mean? Like, it reminded me of like what a child does to try to subdue an adult. Like, like when, like, say, like if you have a guy in the house, right, Amanda? And bear in mind, people, this is a bad situation. Don't ever do this to anybody. But you got a guy in the house, and he's beating on mommy. And then the child comes like, get off my mommy. And then like the child tries to choke the dude, and then he like tosses her off. Like, that's kind of what that reminded me of. I'm like, what are you doing there, Captain Marvel? Like,
Doughboy said, he said, why they did my dad Thanos like that? he was hurting trying to make him some honey tea.
Thank you. Look. First of all, in that scene, like I said, he had the pineapple, the tea, Amanda. I'm like, he's hurt. He literally used the stones to destroy the stones. Like, that would have killed 99% of other people. Like, that feat is ridiculous, but he was still alive.
Hey, you only got one person to blame. You only got one person to blame. That's Thor and his pudgy self. That was Thor and his pudgy self.
We're gonna get to that, Amanda. We're gonna get to that because oh man, that we gonna get to that. We gotta get to that.
All right, hurry up and let's get to it because I'm ready to talk about it now. Because Thor.
I thought it was really cringy when Thor, when he chopped off his head, like in the theater, I was like, what? And people started laughing because I'm like, you did not just do that to my boy. Granted, I'm glad it wasn't Captain Marvel with her cringy self who did it, but I'm like, that doesn't happen. Like, no one defeats Thanos. Like, what is this?
This doesn't have to be. This doesn't have to be exactly like the comics, and that's the thing about the MCU too. Like I know y'all love your comics and this and what it goes by the story, but that's what I love about it too, because it's enough different from the comics where I'm not just predicting everything. I predicted already 2 things that happened major in the beginning.
Oh, I hated that.
I liked it.
I was legit mad for like 5 minutes. I'm like, ugh.
I liked it.
Now, speaking of Thor.
And guess what? He was my favorite character in this movie. He was my favorite. I love Thor.
Oh my God. Like, I have some stuff to say about Thor. Now, within that first hour, the characters are essentially, coping with what happened, trying to figure out what to do.
And Thor, listen, that's why Thor is my spirit superhero, because I would do the same thing. I would get some pizza. I was like, I would be getting some ice cream and bonbons, and I would be, I'd be the same. I'd be like, all right, look, I don't got to stay in shape for saving nobody.
my thing is that, like, he was funny, but I personally wouldn't have went that way with Thor, because I'm like, you emasculated Thor in that movie. Like, they made him look like a bitch.
He's not. I still think he was tough. You don't have to be. That's the thing. You don't have to be the body of a god to be a superhero.
Okay, but look, let's look at what happened before we get to the third hour.
And he's more fun. He don't got to stick up his butt anymore. I love this Thor.
Like, hold up. So I'm like, when they went to look for Thor, because they're like, we have to gather everybody up. I'm like, this dude has been emasculated. Like, they removed his testicles because this dude.
Don't you talk about my Thor like that.
Amanda, he was literally sitting in the dark, extremely overweight, and I'm like, man, what happened, Thor? Like, it was like, even the other characters, they were looking at him like, why are you a disappointment right now? We need you.
Thor was living his best life.
That's not his best life. That's a sad life.
No, that's what I would do. And then maybe it is a sad life, but it's what makes him happy now, because they went through some stuff. Terrance
wasn't happy. He was sad. Like, you could see it in his eyes.
They were sad. He was sad because he was defeated. They were all defeated by Thanos. They going through some stuff.
But look. Regardless of what happens to you in your life, you have a series of choices to make.
Yeah.
Like when Cap and Professor Hulk, when they came to Hulk or to Thor for help, like, they weren't moping in the darkness and stuff like that. Like, this dude was not Thor at that point. I'm like, this dude is sad. Like, literally the theater, they went from,
that's the thing. My God. They are making it like they are giving humanity to this. Because you ain't gonna have half your families wiped out. They are the ones who let them down. They were supposed to save the world, and now they didn't. They failed. Half the people are gone. Like, it is depressing, and they going through some real stuff. And this is 5 years later going through this, and nothing has changed. It's not like they had a plan. They were just
like they added humanity into it, which is fine and understandable. but it doesn't change the fact that Thor was emasculated and weak at that
He
moment.
wasn't weak.
Like this dude.
What makes him weak? He still was out there kicking butt.
Well, at the end of the movie, but that's 2 hours later. Like when he was first reintroduced, like after
You think they just gonna jump? They've been like this for 5 years, Terrance. They've been through. You acting like this was the next day. They've been going through this for 5 years.
It doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter the amount of time. Like I'm focused on the fact that out of all the characters who are all doing bad, he is at the bottom.
Not all of them are doing bad though. Some of them are sad, but look at Tony. Tony right there. Iron Man, he's got it all. He's kind of like, oh yeah, my friends are gone, but look at this life I had that I always wanted.
In terms of Tony, though, his situation, number one, he almost died in space. Thor was never in that position. Okay, he lost the fight. He almost died in space. There was literally no hope in his heart. Like Thor was in a better position than Tony the whole time, and he somehow sunk lower than that. So from an analytical standpoint, I'm like, okay, well, Iron Man, I get you. Thor, you just slipped into yours. Like you made a choice. And it just, to me,
because
I'm like,
what did he have left in life, Terrance? What did he have left? What did Thor have left?
I'm like, this dude is being pathetic. I'm like, there's no excuse for this. You got to pull yourself together. Your people are counting on you now.
What people? Like, they might have all been wiped out. All your people's done gone.
He still had Asgardians left. There was Valkyrie. There was Korg. There was several other dozen Asgardians left. And they were like, when they were like, where's Thor? Oh, he's up there moping like a little girl. I'm like, dang, I didn't even see him yet, and I was already scared for him. I'm like, what has he been doing? And then when they finally reveal him, I'm like, he's just some fat, moping slob that's trying to use humor to cover up his pain, which is like the most
real life.
Man.
And he was my favorite because of it. I love Thor.
Man, that was just sad. I was like, man,
I like Thor before just for like the looks of him. I just want to be like, ooh, Thor. But I never like Thor was one of my top favorites. He never was because I thought he was just stuck like just too this and proper and got like a stick up.
But that's how the character's supposed to be.
He's supposed to be, yeah.
When
in the comics,
if I were part of a team,
this don't have to be exactly from the comics. That's what I'm saying, Terrance.
The thing though, we're not expecting beat by beat, but these characters are pulled from source material. So every other time that we have seen Thor, even when he lost his mother in Thor: The Dark World, he wasn't even that pathetic then. Not even then. Like he had like, oh, I'm sad, but it's not like
guess what? That was like one of the worst. I hated that movie. It was one of the most boring, just dumb.
I agree, but I'm using that to make a point. Even when this dude lost his mother, mind you, who was more closer than your friends, at least I would think so if you have a good relationship with your mom, which he did, and him and Odin were still beasts in that sad moment. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
And guess what?
Because
if that would have happened, listen, I would have been more interested in that movie if he didn't do that and he went and drank and got fat and was funny. Then I would have been like, oh, this is good.
Made the movie worse because I'm like, the movie itself was already not that good. And then you have a character not being their character. I'm like, it just would have added to the failness of that movie.
Not for me. I loved it.
Yeah, like I'm fine with it. It was funny, but to me there was a sadness because I saw his character.
I think they are seeing, and it's smart. They're seeing how good the movies because Thor Ragnarok was so funny, and I think they were like they said, look how good it was. It was such a good movie. It was funny, and everybody responded to it. It kept people's interest because Thor as a character is just kind of boring.
Well, I mean, here's the thing,
personality, just so.
I remember humans saying that, some humans said, well, they changed Thor. I'm like, they didn't change him. Even in the first movie, he said funny things. You're merely talking about the difference between a character
Is that girl with
changing
Thor
or
and
changing stuff around the
gone?
character. Like,
Oh,
'cause I'm like, if you put certain situations around a character, it allows them to be a certain way. And that was the case with Thor and Thor Ragnarok. But
Abe said, well, we got, because he said, is that girl in the Thor in at the end going to be the new Thor? The girl at the end?
oh, hold up, we ain't even to the end yet. Slow down.
I know, and we're already like 40 minutes in, and we gotta go fast. We gotta go fast on this. We gotta go fast.
In terms of Thor, like,
So is he
I
gonna
didn't
be?
have like I didn't hate him, but it's like I wish he would have been more beast. That's my thing. He was a bitch in this movie for the most part until the end. But
Right.
how did you feel about the time traveling aspect? Because in the comic books, in this storyline, there was not that much time travel. There was only like at the very end, you had Adam Warlock, who for some reason we haven't seen yet. You have Adam Warlock, and he travels to the future to check on Thanos, and then he returns to the present. That's the full extent of the time travel.
It is crazy how all the time travel in it, but it had to be that way. It had to. The story they were like, the way they were going, I was like, it had to be like that. There's no other way I could have.
I wouldn't say that it had to be, but in the way that they made it for the movie, I get it. And I thought it was good a lot, but I'm like, they could have easily did it the other way, like in the comics, but humans probably wouldn't have been able to handle that because there was less hope in that, because Thanos was killing everybody. There was no hope of like, we can go to the different time periods and all we gotta do is
but then this way too, it made for the ending even better. You know, like the whole Captain America thing. I really liked how they did that.
God, I gotta get to that because I am getting so tired of everybody saying that because it just showed me they weren't paying attention. I'm like, I
liked it. But wait, before we get to that, I was gonna say something else. Wait, what was that?
Professor Hulk specifically told everybody, you go, you get the stones, you don't take nothing else, you don't mess with anybody, and we all meet back here. Yeah. Every single hero messed up the timeline. There's only one exception, and that's Professor Hulk when he was dealing with the Ancient One.
Yeah.
But that's because she can see the past, present, and future simultaneously. But everybody else messed up. I'm like, you had Loki escape with the damn Tesseract. I'm like, that's an alternate timeline in itself.
That was.
Now, I'm like, how do you?
But Terrance, do you think? I heard right that is going to actually, because they're having the Disney Plus Loki series, that's going to actually lead up to that series, and it's going to be Loki kind of traveling around with the time, the space stone.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
And while I feel like that's going to be very entertaining, it's not good though, because I'm like, and then got to get back to Thor, because I'm like, Thor, they were naming all these movies, Back to the Future and all this other stuff. I took it, I noticed immediately, and I turned to the guy next to me. I'm like, notice how they didn't mention The Flash, which is the biggest example you can use of time traveling. But that's okay, though, because, you know, it's DC, it's the competition. Even though DC mentions Marvel all the time. But anyway, like, Thor, he ends up talking to his mother from the past. I'm like, Thor, like, you broke one of the biggest rules of time travel.
And that part too, I was just like, I felt too, I was like, that was unnecessary to add. Don't you think? I was like, that wasn't necessary.
Man, Thor, I'm like, you my boy and everything, Thor, but you have been messing up this whole movie. I don't know what to do with you, Thor. I'm damn near ready to
that made you mad.
Oh my!
I'm gonna tell you though, Terrance, what I didn't like was even before we started all the time travel stuff, how Ant-Man came back. When they did that scene and they're in the van and I see this rat crawling, I said out loud, I said, oh no, that rat better not bring him back. I said it out loud. I was like, that rat better not bring him back. Sure enough, rat brings him back. I was like, that's dumb. That's dumb. I didn't like it.
I didn't mind that because I'm like, because for Ant-Man, I was like, now I get to see how pivotal he's going to be for this storyline. Because I'm like, with the quantum realm, that has to help in some way with the time travel, even though
Yeah,
that wasn't a
I
thing
know. Yeah.
with that storyline in the comics. There was no quantum realm in that storyline. So I'm like, I want to see how they do this,
Oh,
and I hope it
I was
makes sense.
glad. I was glad Ant-Man came back. Don't get me wrong there. I wanted to see all that too. It was the randomness of a dumb rat like saving the world, basically.
You know why I was okay with that, Amanda? I'll tell you why. Even though it could have happened different ways. And I feel you, Amanda. We right here on that.
Mm-hmm.
However, the reason why I was okay with that is because most of the time when I would read Marvel comic books, the most randomest
It's
crap
true.
be happening, Amanda. I swear, like
It's true.
it just
No,
could be
I mean,
like it just be a character walking, Amanda, and like the ice cream will melt and drip down something, and it'll open a door, Amanda.
yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
true. No, that's true. I guess you're right on that. But still, it got on my nerves.
right. No, I feel you, man. I got you, but I was just like, because I think we were almost thinking the same thing. I was like, it'd be like I said to myself
I
in my
said
head,
out
like it'd
loud.
be funny if like that rat was just, and then it just like hit it, and then it.
I said
Oh
out
man,
loud. I said that rat better not bring him back. Boom, brought him back.
but Amanda, I liked when he went to see Cassie, and because Cassie, she's supposed to become a superhero.
Well, yeah.
I'm like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Marvel's best friend, her daughter's supposed to become a superhero.
And then
I'm
even
like, cool.
at the end, at Iron Man's funeral, they had the little boy from what, Iron Man 3? Was it 3?
Like nobody knew who that was because the Russo brothers were like nobody was supposed to know because I'm like when I watched it twice I'm like I saw the boy and then one of my friends was like who was the boy and I'm like I don't remember what boy you're talking about and it's I couldn't remember off my head but then I'm like oh man it's that kid from Iron Man 3 nobody cares about him but like
but he'll probably be in the Young Avengers
I'm like, wait a minute, what is he going to contribute to that team? Like, he better just, I don't know.
He's going to, I bet, well, because Falcon is now the new Captain America.
Okay, hang on. Okay, so
I'm just saying, like, I see maybe it kind of continuing the Iron Man, because he knows, right? He, like, worked on that suit and all that kind of stuff, and he's good techie, right?
Why would they pick that random kid from Iron Man 3 when it can be his daughter or Pepper, something that actually is connected to the comics? Like I'm just saying, like they've left a lot. Even that scene where his daughter, when she had on the helmet, and then he was like, "Where'd you get that from?" I'm like, that was an Easter egg in itself. I'm like, that's cool. That's like foreshadowing of things to come. Assuming that they go that direction, I'm like, I picked up on that. That's cool. Russo's that's a thumbs up, all the thumbs and high fives in the universe. I was like, cool. It was just like the subtle thing.
What did you think about Joe Russo's cameo?
Oh man, I thought that was like funny enough. Everybody in theater, we had that respect mode. We're like, oh okay, cool. All right. And because I mean, he had his daughter in the movie too. She plays Hawkeye's daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, that's cool. It was like a full circle thing. I'm like, that's really cool.
I was like, is he gonna be? Because he did cameos before, in like Civil War, wasn't he? Didn't he do a cameo in that?
He did, and it was a deleted scene. Like I don't think they ended up including it into the film.
That's right. But I was like, what is he going to try to be like the new Stan Lee, like showing up in all the movies?
That would be interesting.
I would not. I like Stan Lee's. That was cute. I liked his cameo.
Yeah, because that's funny that you mentioned that because that's a huge Easter egg to the way that Stan Lee looked in the 70s. And it was subtle, but it was like one of those things where, when somebody points it out to you, like, oh yeah, like that, it was nice. Like, that's cool. Like, I like Easter eggs that are obvious. And then other times where you got to analyze it or someone would have to freeze a frame and then you're like, all right. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I like that. But I got to mention this because I had the dude below me. I had to tell him low key because I didn't want to, talk during the movie, but, because he was like, who is that? Like the scene where I'm sorry. Another hero was messing up the timeline. His name is Tony Stark. Yeah, when he went to see his dad. Remember that?
Oh,
And then,
yeah.
and I was like, Tony, you talked to your dad like you were breaking all the rules.
You was mad at all of them that broke the rules. You mad at Thor for talking to his mama. You mad at Tony for talking to his dad.
Everybody, because I'm like, you guys are here. But anyway, so they go outside and you see Jarvis, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, that is the first time that a TV show character has crossed over. Now somebody be like, what about Coulson?
Well,
I'm like, no, he's the
say.
movie character. That doesn't count. He starred in movies. Jarvis, that actor that they used to play the Butler Jarvis, is the same actor that played Jarvis on the Agent Carter TV show. I'm like, that is cool. Like, I noticed that immediately. I'm like, that's awesome.
So what? You're saying Coulson don't count because he was in the movie first?
Right. Like, if Coulson comes back because he started in the movies, it's like, that's different. Like, with the Jarvis guy, the Jarvis actor, he started in the TV show Agent Carter. Mm-hmm. That was his first time in an MCU movie. So I'm like, that's cool. And it made sense.
Yeah.
I'm like that.
All right,
to me, Jarvis is cooler when he's Jarvis was one of the coolest characters in that show. Agent Carter, it was Agent Carter. And then it was Jarvis, and then it was Howard Stark, except Howard Stark was played by the actor that plays Preacher right now. So I'm just like, just all that stuff going through my mind. I'm like, that is cool. It's not cool that you're messing up the timeline, but that's cool to see.
All right, Terrance, we got to get to this last scene, like the fighting scene.
The hour? Okay, let's jump into the hour. Fast forward, characters messing up the timeline as usual. Nebula getting caught, and Thanos. Oh my God, Nebula. Like, it was one of those things, Amanda. When it happened, I'm like, that is perfect right there, because she's mostly machine and she records data, and that is exactly how you get that. Yeah. So when that happened, Amanda, I remember sitting up in my seat and I was clapping. And I was the only one clapping for Thanos. Because it's like, I mean, granted, I was clapping for the heroes at different moments, but I love when they do the villains right. Like, you know me, Amanda. When you do my boys right, or women, depending on if it's a villainess, I am so happy. So when they showed him, I'm like,
I wasn't mad at it either. I wasn't mad I was getting frustrated for like it happening. I'm like, oh
man, Amanda. I was like, I knew they wouldn't. I'm like, there's no way they did my boy like how they did him in the first 20 minutes. I was like, there ain't no way. So when that happened, I'm like, this is great. He gonna come and it's just gonna be over. He started gathering the intel and stuff. And then remember the other Nebula, the past one, she was like, I would never betray. I felt that, because I was like, man, like, she seems really scared. And it's like, because she don't know what her future self is doing. She got soft later.
Yeah.
That other Nebula, she was hard, Amanda. Like, you couldn't get nothing out of her. This current Nebula, she's soft. She is soft. Like, she's not as soft as the other characters, but she's softer is the best way I can say it. So, of course,
then on the flip side, too, then you see Gamora, and you're like, oh, I need the soft Gamora back. I need, you like that
one? I like the new one. Like, I like the one that we saw in Guardians, but at the same time, though, like, it was something about when she was just focused, when she was right there with them.
It's because you like villains. That's why. It's because you like villains. You're like, oh, I like her as a villain better.
I mean, but you know I like badass women. I'm like, there's nothing like that focused, disciplined woman. Like, and when she was like that, I was like, that's how I like my Gamora and Nebula. I'm gonna be honest. But so I just like how Thanos was gathering the info.
Yeah.
And like, I gotta backtrack just a second, because when the Ancient One was dealing with Professor Hulk, when he said, I'm not asking, when she hit him and knocked the soul out, when it was like, cool.
I know.
I was like, first of all, Hulk, you don't know who you mess with. See, in that moment, he reminded me of Captain Marvel just a little bit, like this whole, like, oh, because I'm who I am, I could just do whatever I want to anybody. I'm like, sorry, Hulk, it don't work that way. This lady will put you on your ass so fast you don't even know what hit you. That's what happened. Then she was like, you gonna sit your butt down, and I'm gonna explain to you why you made a mistake, and then you're gonna explain to me why I should help you and why I shouldn't just vaporize you right here on the spot. And then he did, and the whole stones and all that stuff. But to me, she saw all that, like everything that Thanos was going to find out with Nebula, because she knew, just like she knew with Doctor Strange, like he's the best of all of us, and he just gave it up willingly, the stone,
yeah.
And then she was like, wow, like I guess I got to give it to you. Then it was like she saw that, and I was like, that's cool,
yeah,
like that's like. That's like that stuff out of the comics, Amanda, where I always want them to do it, but they usually mess it up. But I was like, I love that.
Yeah.
That is exactly how the Ancient One's supposed to be.
It.
She's not, because they could have messed her up, Amanda. They could have been like, they could have wrote her terribly where she was like, what? I don't know nothing about nothing. I wasn't based off of no comic book.
No, they did that right. I love that scene. And that was the only one, too. You're like, oh, finally, someone, you know, like not out of all these people, someone is doing it right, like, and actually sees that.
Okay, now let me tell you where I was surprised.
All right.
Some of the stuff I predicted came true, and then a lot of stuff happened that I didn't think they would do, because when it comes to these comic book movies, I'm always like, they're going to.
Here, hold on 1 second.
Make something very inaccurate, or they are going to do something with the character or whatever that they're not supposed to do, or something.
Keep talking.
Oh yeah. Oh, are you stripping in the background?
No, I'm not.
I was like, dang, like,
my kids getting on my nerves. They were all out there being loud, and they know I'm live. All right.
Okay, yeah, so I'm like, okay, this surprised me when they were fighting. Now, it was only me, my friend, and 2 other people in the theater that yelled it out. When his hair got longer, and then he had Stormbreaker and Mjolnir, he turned into Rune King Thor, the Thor that I told you about, and we were just like, oh! Like, we lost our damn mind. I was like, Thor, you have just redeemed yourself. You was messing up this whole movie. You good now. And we, like, it was me, my friend, and then like three other individuals, so it was 5 of us. We all at the same time, we were like, Rune King Thor! Like, and people, they were cheering, but it was like they were only cheering because he looked cool, but we were cheering because we knew what he was, and we were like, oh man. And then I was like, okay, never in my life did I think they were going to do no Rune King Thor. I was like, that was one of those, it'd be nice, but they ain't going to do nothing like that. Oh, they did it! They did it! So then, that was the first surprise.
Okay.
The second one, I don't know how those humans made it out of the theater, because I thought they drowned in all the semen, Amanda, that I shot out. But anyway, the second one.
Yes!
the second one was when you hear the build up of the music, and then you had Cap with Mjolnir, and then he was just swinging it, and then he was just summoning the lightning, and then he was doing the combo with the shield, Amanda, like boom boom, and I was like, what? They didn't. I was like, I couldn't, Amanda. It was like it was an orgasm.
I don't remember. What part are you talking about? What part are you talking about?
You're doing Cap when he got Mjolnir, when he was swinging it around at the end of the movie. So like that was like shortly after Rune King Thor. I was like, what?
You like that?
And then he was just doing the combo with the shield and the light, and I was like, oh man, what is happening? Cause that was another thing where I was like, hold up. Cause I was like, that was another thing that I read in the comics where I was like, okay, Cap picking up Mjolnir. I'm like, they teased it in Avengers Age of Ultron and slightly moved it.
I remember.
Like, yeah. But I never thought I would see where he would pick it up and use it. Like, at most, I was like, if we ever see him pick it up, he'll probably like, and he'll struggle and then put it down. But he was fighting with it. I was like,
I'm going to tell you one thing,
what I'm talking about. That is the price of my ticket. I'm like, that's where it's at. I'm like, you did it back to back. First you did Rune King Thor. number one, I was already just, the eyes were rolled to the back of my head, Amanda. The semen was shooting out like I couldn't control it.
I'm glad I wasn't sitting by you. What?
And then, like, right when I recovered, Amanda, barely recovering, just out of breath, couldn't breathe, couldn't see, Amanda. And then they did the cap thing with Mjolnir, and then that just, right again, it was like round 2, and then my arms were flailing. You're like, Amanda, it was crazy. And then I left my seat, Amanda. It's like, I just jumped up. Like, I was like one of those, like, I was like the Mario Brothers for a cool minute. I was just like, no, like, what is happening in this world? I'm like, is everybody seeing this? Okay, y'all, okay, no, derp, like, I couldn't control it, Amanda, like, you don't even know.
I'm telling y'all, I'm glad Amanda, I wasn't sitting by Terrance.
Amanda, how did you feel when that was happening?
What?
How did you feel when that was happening? I mean, when Cap had Mjolnir, and
I thought I loved probably 99.9% of everything in that fight scene.
Oh my God.
Everything, back to back. There was only one thing I didn't like, and I'll tell you what it is, and it might be unpopular opinion, because we're talking about Cap. How many movies have I been waiting to hear some Avengers Assemble? Right? How many movies have been waiting to hear Avengers Assemble? And I didn't like how I was.
Oh man.
Terrance, they could have done that better for me. He's going to be, I was like, oh, he's saying it. He's like, Avengers. And I was like, oh, he's going to say, and he was like, assemble. I was like, that's it.
Let me tell you something. The reason why that was perfect is because let me tell you why. Because look, I'm trying to put it in perspective. Because I feel like I understand what you're saying, but let me, because look, from my perspective, it was like you had Rune King Thor. Now, he wasn't at full power. I would place him at about, I would say 30% of his Rune King Thor power.
Okay, you had, all right, keep going.
Okay, so it was Rune King Thor, and then it was Cap, right? And I was like, oh man, they're going them at the same time, and then they were getting beat up. It didn't mean nothing.
Oh yeah.
It was like all this stuff was looking cool. I was like, oh my God, oh. It's just orgasm, just everything. It was just that nobody was safe near me, man. Nobody was safe.
And
then my boy Thanos, he was just like, "Are you done?" Smack, and it just, and then he was like, "Get these little hammers out of here. What is this supposed to be? Give me your shield." And then he just had the blade crack, and then he just kicked Cap. I was like, Cap looked like he didn't die, and man, he was just on the ground.
I was like, "This is the end. This is the end for Cap."
You took a punch to the face from Thanos, and then he kicked you in your chest. I was surprised that he was able to say Avengers Assemble. I'm just like,
yeah.
And when he got up, when he was like kind of hunched, and then he stood up all the way, I'm like, that must have took a lot of energy, because I know he was in pain. So when you were waiting for him to say it really loud, I'm like, he just got hit by Thanos. Like, I wouldn't even be standing, man. I would just be down to dirt. Like, I would have said it on my back, man. I'd have been like, Avengers Assemble.
Now, Terrance, what did you think then about the girl scene in the fight scene?
Oh, okay. Let me tell you that, because there's two sides of that. You have the guys that felt it was forced.
Yeah.
You have more so ones like me where it's like, I'm like, you know what? It's cool in the sense that I like a lot of badass women, and when they fight and stuff, you know me, man. Yeah. When a girl kicking butt, I love that.
Well, also, did you feel like it was even a little talking about Easter eggs to like A-Force or something like that?
I thought about that just a little bit, because I was like, I thought about it for like maybe 5 seconds, and then I was trying to focus on the scene for other Easter eggs, because like when you get too caught up in one.
Oh, I know. Like that fight scene was crazy. Like I was just like, I was at the edge. That was the best fight scene like ever.
But to be honest, though, I understand the other side of the equation of force, because first of all, Thanos, I like number one that Thanos, he didn't care how many Avengers came out. It was countless individuals, and Thanos' face was just like, okay. I'm supposed to care? Like, then you have wave after wave of endless enemies. Everybody's fighting scattered out everywhere. But suddenly, you mean to tell me that all the women happen to stop fighting all those armies at the same time to come together in a specific spot?
But,
so I'm just like,
but it's just like you pointed out that the dumb old rat gonna save the world, and it would totally be in the comics like something like that. That would totally be in the comics like something like that too, as a nod to like.
Would, but in the case of that though, because of what's happening with, you know, the SJWs, like, you have to do
I know,
more
but
with
that's why I like, that's why I'm like, the Russos says, I don't care. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do what I want.
But see, the Russo brothers, they were smart because they didn't allow the SJWs to dictate what should happen.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
The SJWs would be like, no, the women have to win. I'm like, if the women are not strong enough, then they shouldn't win.
That's what I'm saying. I think it was done right. And even that scene for me was done right. And I'm going to tell you,
I liked it.
The biggest chill of them all was that scene with Iron Man and some Doctor Strange. That, like, you had all this fighting going on, all this fighting, all this stuff. You done shot. Look, I'm telling you, Terrance the theater walls were white. He painted it. All that stuff he done. Okay.
Hey, I'm surprised nobody drowned. I released so much semen that night. It just, they had enough to quench their thirst for the next 2 months, assuming they didn't drown.
And then that scene when Iron Man and Doctor Strange just make that eye contact, and he was just like,
it's the thing that I feel is unfortunate, because I mean, not in the sense that it was bad, like I thought it was great, but for the people that don't know how powerful that Easter egg is, that was supposed to be Adam Warlock with Silver Surfer connected to Fantastic Four. Like, they were supposed to be up in space with that scene where they look back and forth like, you need to tell me what's going on. I can't, otherwise, you know, it's going to mess everything up. Like, that was that, but with two different characters. So I was like, okay, I see what you're doing there. I wish it would have been my boy Adam, but, you know, I'll forgive you because it's good and I like you too. But I know how it's supposed to be, so I'm like, all right. So
but it don't have to be the same in the comics. Stop telling me that.
I want those characters to be there. I'm like,
I know you love the comics so much. You want a movie.
Adam Warlock is supposed to be in Guardians Volume 3. I'm like,
they need to do a movie just for Terrance of everything right from the comics. This is like right from the comics movie. Bam.
No, it doesn't have to be 100%, but I do, like, when a character is supposed to be there, like, in terms of Adam Warlock, they could have used him. They couldn't use Silver Surfer yet because the deal hadn't been made. That's fine. But Adam Warlock, he's just kind of been on the back shelf.
I know. You wanted to see him. And I did. A lot of people did. A lot of people, like, no,
like, where is Adam? Where is he?
But like, they got to leave you. They got to leave you with some question to you know that how they do you. They ain't going to leave you just with everything, like, coming about. They're like,
I'm like, you talking about, like, okay, we gonna see him in Guardians. I'm like, you missed out on an opportunity to use him in the two most important movies, which are Infinity War and Endgame. So I'm like,
but maybe they want to. Maybe I feel like that's a character that they don't want to just give a little cameo to. You know, not a little. They want to, like, dive
cameo. Was supposed to be in, like, the whole storyline. Like,
but I'm just saying, like, we don't know him yet. We don't know him yet. We don't know enough about him yet.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, when they showed his cocoon in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, if they would have brought him in at the beginning of Infinity War and had him stay throughout both movies, then the audience would have got to know him.
It's true.
And it just would have been like, oh, who's that? Well, this is the guy that's going to try to save everybody because that's what he does, but he wasn't there. I'm like, you mean to tell me Adam Warlock, someone who is stupid powerful, didn't show up for Endgame? He wasn't there when Thanos was... It just baffles my mind, but I'm like, all right, the movies were great, so I understand, but I'm just like, He was just sleeping that whole time. He was just chilling with his little blanket, and he was just sipping on the tea like, nah, I don't need to come out right now. The Avengers, they got it, Amanda. They'll be all right. I'll come out in like Guardians 3 when everything is easier. You know how to come on. So, when, when Scarlet Witch, when she had Thanos, like, I like how when Thanos, when she was just mad, right?
Mm-hmm.
It, like, for some reason, that scene reminded me of certain situations that I've had with females, and they're mad at me, but either I don't know or care why, and I'm like, who are you? Why are you even upset? Get out of my way. And then she's like, yeah, you gonna remember me. And then she picked him up. I was like, now see, I was like, that actually makes sense. I knew it wasn't going to happen because it doesn't even happen that way in the comics, but I'm like, if she were to take out Thanos, that would make more sense than, say, a Captain Marvel, by far. Because I'm like, in the comic books, she had a storyline where she, like, killed all the X-Men and everything.
Yeah.
Like, she is crazy powerful, like, legitimately powerful, not just because Kevin Feige says so. Like, but anyway, she, like, picks him up in the air, and then, you know, his armor, you see it tearing away. I was like, oh, get him, Scarlet Witch. That is cool. I was like, okay, I know you're not going to kill him, but I'm like, at most, I'm like, she's probably going to damage him. Fine. But he's going to come down. It's not like she's going to keep him up there forever. And then he was just like, fire everything. He was like, but my lord, we have men down there. I don't care. You fire right now. And then all the blasts and the missiles and stuff. She gets blown away. I'm like, she's never going to be able to do that again because, Amanda, as you know, when it comes to a battle, a war, whatever, there's a difference between keeping someone at bay versus killing them altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So that was more of like, this is nice, but if you don't kill him, that doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, I took it as that moment for the Russo brothers to showcase how powerful she is, but there was a message throughout the entire movie, which I want certain humans to understand, the ones that don't know the comics and they were trying to act like Captain Marvel was going to do it by herself. I'm like, there was one specific message of nothing else that they wanted you to take away. You can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Everything from the time travel.
Avengers Assemble. Avengers Assemble.
Not Avenger, Avengers. Okay? So that means everybody. Even with the time travel, you know, they needed Tony to come and help them. Everybody had to help each other. There is no by yourself. Like, this man whooped everybody's butt. Okay? Everybody. He was going from planet to planet, killing billions of people, and you think you're going to show up because you're Captain Women and you're going to be able to beat them by yourself? Since when? So, remember that scene when Thanos had all the stones and Captain Marvel pulled his hand down to stop him from snapping?
Yeah.
Number one, that was cringy as hell because I'm like, there's no way she's that strong. That's ridiculous. So, it was a cringy moment. And then, like, when he headbutted her, and it didn't work, I'm like, really? So, I like when, after Thanos headbutted her, he was like, so you think you tough, hang on, let me get this power stone real quick, smack, and he just, like, punched her dead in her face. He punched her 2 miles away, she was like, no!
You
like,
love villains too much,
we could see her no more.
You love villains too much, Terrance. You love villains too much. Because I was like, no, beat him, Avengers, get him.
Amanda, let me tell you what surprised me.
You better be quick because we got to wrap it up. Right? We got to wrap it up. And there.
When after he punched Captain Marvel in the face so beautifully with that power stone, when I started clapping, 99% of the theater clapped with me. I was surprised. Because I thought people were going to be like, oh no, Captain Women got punched. Like, I thought it was going to be that reaction. Now, you probably had that in different theaters throughout the world. Like, the individuals that thought almighty Captain Women was like the most powerful one. Oh my God, I'm so confused. She was supposed to be the one. Oh my God. Like, I'm like, what happened? What happened?
Oh, I didn't think anybody said that.
That was a beautiful moment. But we got to get to like the next moment that shocked me, Amanda, when Thanos was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with it, Amanda. I'm done with Earth. You know what? All these humans, they're done. You guys are ungrateful. I created balance, and you guys are treating me like the monster. You know what, Amanda? I'm done. I'm snapping my fingers. I'm destroying this whole planet. Yeah. I'm done. I am done. Like,
of course you would like that.
Now, Amanda, I want you to know that I thought that was just beautiful, beautiful character development for Thanos to go from I'm gonna create balance to like Earth is done, Amanda. It is so done. Like I'm like, you guys have literally pissed Thanos off. He don't even want the planet around anymore. He like so, and then when he goes to do it, then Tony he latches on to him, right? And Thanos is like, I'm inevitable. And then nothing happened. I was like, what? Where are the stones? Where are the stones? And then remember, then Iron Man, he put his hand up. I was like, no. They're not gonna do it. Oh my God, they gonna do it, Amanda. Can you believe it? And then I started shooting semen again because it didn't matter. So and then when he was like, I am Iron Man, like, bah, I was like, that is just so glorious. I'm like, the one that started the MCU, Amanda, the guy that started the MCU, he done saved everybody, man. I was like, man. And then remember Thanos' forces, they all dusted, and then Thanos was the last one because he's so strong. Thanos had enough time to process his own death, Amanda. That's how strong he is. He was just like, damn, I try to create balance and it's just ungrateful. I mean, my daughters betrayed me and I was just trying to sit on my farm, but I guess not everybody likes tea and peace. And then he just faded away. I was like, I was like, man, I had yelled that out in the theater, Amanda, and everybody looked back at me like I was insane, Amanda, because I was sad that Thanos.
I know, because you love those villains too much, Terrance. You love those villains too much. So that's why you love DC, because the villains never go away in DC. That's why you love DC so much, because they always stick around.
Hey, Amanda, how did you feel when Tony died, though? Cause
I mean, I didn't cry or nothing. Like, people crying.
The first one, everybody else man, Amanda, I heard people crying. It was crazy.
Oh, let me tell you, Terrance, I was sitting right next to Tessa, and I kept yelling. I was like, she was crying through a whole movie, shaking my chair. I was like, you gotta get it together. I was like, this ain't I didn't cry one time.
Okay, see, I'm surprised that you didn't cry, but I'm not surprised that Tessa did cry because she cries when a character shows their tennis shoe.
Oh yeah,
it could be Rocket Raccoon putting on a boot.
She cries. I'm like, this is a happy part. She's, I was like, you gotta get together. She was shaking my chair. I got mad at her. I was like, get it together. But I'm like I was a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, Amanda. I was like, man, like. I mean, I was sad. I was like, that sucks. He done, he had the best life of them all, even after the snap and stuff. And he could have just went on living, and he sacrificed. And now I was like, and now Pepper and the kid is gonna be alone. And then I was like, I love you 3,000. And I was like, oh.
There was some human on the bottom row of the theater. Like we didn't laugh because we knew like how he felt, but he was just like, man, they got my boy. And it was like, we just were quiet, like, we understand, you know, like that's, and then he was just fading away slow, and then Spider-Man, he was like, we did it, Mr. Stark.
I know, that was.
Now let me tell you something, Amanda. I don't cry during movies, but there are certain moments where I could see how it could have almost happened, like when Spider-Man.
And the Spider-Man part would have been for me.
Yeah, he did it, Mr. Stark, and it just reminded me of how it was with him when he saw Spider-Man go. I was like, dang, man.
Because I didn't cry in this movie, but I cried in Infinity War, and it was when...
You cried in Infinity War?
When Spider-Man got dusted.
Oh, yeah. And you didn't cry for Iron Man?
No, because Spider-Man's my boy! Spider-Man's my boy!
That is messed up.
I cried for Spider-Man. He was young. He just thought he didn't have it, lived his life yet. Tony's old.
Yes,
Tony done lived his life.
Tony.
Tony,
No, not a single.
no.
Okay, Amanda. What if
No.
I would have got dusted? You wouldn't have cried.
Listen. Yes, you're my boy.
Oh, okay.
I like Iron Man, but he done lived his life.
Sure, but he's. I mean, Amanda.
I was sad. I was sad that this is pretty much like the end of. Like it felt like the end of the story. I was sad that it felt like the end of the story for all these 10 years of movies like this.
Okay, now that you said that, you got to get to why you like what happened with Cap. I need to hear this, Amanda, because I want to compare it to everybody else. I'm gonna shut up. You go ahead. Tell me why you like what happened with Cap in the end.
With like him staying there and him being old and then passing on the shield to Falcon.
Go ahead.
Because that's what I said. Iron Man and Cap, those two together were like the best. So Iron Man ain't gonna be around no more. I was like, Cap don't need to either. Like he can go and live his life. I was like, we can be done with Cap now too. We done with Iron Man. We done with Cap. Done.
I have never heard such a sin in my life, Amanda. That is a sin. Like
I never liked Captain America anyway. You know I don't. I don't like Captain America. I can't stand Bucky. I can't stand little Bucky. So I'm glad Bucky didn't get the shield. Out of anybody, I was happy Falcon did.
This is so blasphemous. I have never heard.
So
Amanda, this is so blasphemous. I didn't see my heart. It can't take all this. Like I thought my heart was strong enough, but that is so blasphemous that I don't even know how to process it. Nope.
I'm done.
Okay, so hold up. Everybody, I remember after the movie, Amanda, everybody turned around and looked at me because they were trying to figure out what the hell I was talking about. Because after the movie ended, and everybody was like, "Oh man, he got to be with Peggy, yay!" And I was like, "So I guess everybody." Or excuse me, most humans are selfish. And then everybody turned around like, what is this black guy talking about? I was like, oh, I didn't expect everybody to listen. I was talking to my friend and the guy next to it. But they were listening. I was like, dang, I got an audience. Anyway.
Bye, Cowboy. Yeah.
I was like, hold up. So everybody ignores the fact that every one of these Avengers has just completely created alternate timelines. And let me tell you something. Even when you have a timeline that is 99.9% the same, or just 99%, just the 1% that's different is already worse than everything else. Because I'm like, I don't know if you guys read the comics, but there's worse people out there than Thanos. I'm like, you got the one above all, the living tribunal, the Beyonder, Mangorg, you got Gore the God Butcher, you got Abraxas. I'm like, you guys think Thanos is bad. You will literally cry to death when we get to these other villains because, oh, precious Captain America here wanted to be with his little girlfriend. I'm like, is no one else thinking about how bad this is? Amanda, what did Professor Hulk tell him, Amanda? Take the stones back. Yeah. You're going to have as much time as you need and come right back. Like, don't do nothing else.
Take the stones back.
Come right back.
Captain
and
America.
then what happened? What did he do, Amanda?
Yeah,
he didn't just go dance with Peggy Carter. He didn't spend 1 day, 2 weeks, not even 2 months, Amanda. He spent a whole lifetime with Peggy Carter. I'm like, hold up. A whole lifetime, Cap? I'm like, you're Captain America, not Captain Selfish. What is wrong with you? Like, do you realize that by you freezing to death in the Arctic was why S.H.I.E.L.D. decided to be what it is? Do you realize that Peggy Carter stopped the world from being annihilated twice? That you made her not do because she spent her life with you? Do you realize that Hydra will not be stopped without S.H.I.E.L.D. to be there because you stopped Peggy Carter and you stopped other people from being inspired by you? I'm like, you have just created a ripple effect that Amanda, we don't even know the full results right now. See, Spider-Man gonna be smiling in Far From Home, but all we know, Peter not gonna be smiling that long
Don't say that. Don't say it.
Because of Cap. And because of everybody else. And Loki escaping with the Tesseract. He probably out there creating multiple timelines like, ha ha ha. Yeah, that's right, Thor. You guys didn't plan for this. Ha ha ha. I'm the greatest trickster of all time. I'm like, oh my God. Everybody is so happy with the whole I am Iron Man snapping, the A-Force and all this stuff. But what about all the bad stuff that everyone's not thinking about? They think it's just going to be a happy ending? Did they think that Endgame was last movie? I mean, Spider-Man Far From Home is a couple months away.
But like you said, they can go on. He gave him a shield. Falcon's the next Cap. Look, stuff will happen. They'll be there. They don't need Cap.
Oh, that's an Easter egg, right? Well, that's two actually. That's the whole.
They don't need
Falcon
Cap.
Being Cap.
They don't need him.
And Bucky was Cap too at one point, but Falcon is next up in line apparently. But there is something called Old Man Rogers in the comics.
Oh, really?
Rogers is old. He is old, and you know what he does, Amanda?
What?
Oh, it's just gonna solidify what I was saying. He thinks about all the mistakes that he has made. All the mistakes, red, white, and blue, has just turned into the saddest moment. Everybody just like, oh man, I'm so satisfied. Endgame, it's the end of everything. Spider-Man gonna make us smile. Yeah, I'm like, I'm the only one sitting there. You know, of course I got a box of Kleenexes because I'm cleaning up all the semen. But aside from that, I'm just sitting there like, do you guys realize who else is out there? You know, Guardians Volume 3 is coming, right? Remember Thor? He joins the Guardians. That's called the Asgardians of the Galaxy. That's cool. I love that Thor is with the Guardians. That is cool. I love that. I even like that he's told Valkyrie, like, yeah, your majesty. You know, I want you to run this. I'm like, Valkyrie is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my girl right there, Valkyrie. I love me some Valkyrie. But him with the Guardians, I'm like, now I'm trying to imagine what Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is like, Amanda, because James Gunn, he wrote the script for that movie a long time ago, which means that he had to know about the ending of Endgame. Because otherwise, how would you even be able to set all that up?
Yeah.
How would you? So I'm like, so you mean to tell me we're going to have the Guardians, Thor's with them.
And then Gamora as like the old, like, right?
Right. That's right, Amanda. That's a nut. Thank you for mentioning that. That's right. That's another thing, like, because she ain't really like the Gamora that Peter loves. Remember, he tried to kiss her, and then she hit him in the nuts, and then he was like on the ground and stuff. Like, so that's another problem.
Yeah.
See? And then you got Adam Warlock coming, because at first it's like some people might be like, wait, is he supposed to be evil? It's like with him, it's like it just depends on the comic book issue. I feel like 1 minute he's just like, I love everybody, peace. The next minute, people are dead and stuff, and you try to figure out what happened in the world. But I'm like, wait a minute, what are they gonna deal with?
That's what I mean. There's so much. I know it's not an end to this, but there's so much that could come from this.
Cap, what did you do? Like, if I ever,
but we don't need Cap. We don't need Cap.
Amanda, let me tell you something. If I ever meet Chris Evans first, I'm gonna be like, man, I respect you. Like, you really played this character to the T. I'm so happy that you got to play Captain America. And then I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder. I'm gonna be like, what did you do to the timeline? It's just gonna be the security snatch and be like, we're all gonna die because of him. It's his fault. Like, I'm gonna just get dragged away like a crazy person, Amanda. And it's gonna be on the news.
You don't have much trust. You don't have much trust in Falcon, then, do you?
I do, and I can't wait to see, because he is a wonderful character, like, especially as he continues to evolve. But I'm like, he is also unaware of what Cap has done, because remember, Cap didn't tell them what he did.
Yeah.
Like, when you're talking about an entire lifetime, that is over 60 decades. Do you know how much stuff you can mess up in 2 minutes? This guy is living a completely different life. Seemed like he done married Peggy, and who knows what else he's tampered with. And Professor Hulk don't even really know the full details. Like, they're not going to find out until later and it's probably going to be the most saddest thing. They're going to be like, Cap, what did you do? And or if he's dead by then, they may not be able to ask him.
I don't think he's going to be any more movies. I think this is his last one. So
I feel you, Amanda. I feel you, and that's going to make it even sadder when they're like, we can't even ask Cap what he did.
All right, Terrance.
Remember,
I gotta go. I got my other show. So
Amanda, did you think about when Cap returned the Soul Stone to Vormir and then Red Skull was there? You know that's his greatest enemy, right? I wonder what he did there.
We didn't even talk about the whole Black
Widow. Oh, that was funny.
All right, no, but I can't talk about it, Terrance. I gotta go. I'm late. So.
But did you cry? Did you cry?
No, I ain't telling you. No, I told you I didn't cry one time.
You didn't cry when Black Widow died? Nothing? You didn't cry when Black Widow died, when Iron Man...
I didn't cry one time. If I would...
That's okay, Amanda. You I don't know, Amanda, like you don't care about these characters. so you only cry when something happened to Spider-Man.
Yes! That's my boy!
Yeah, Spider-Man cool.
All right, we gotta go though, because you know I'm late. But thank y'all for...
I didn't cry when Iron Man died.
No!
Oh my. That is just... I mean,
Tell him bye, Terrance. Tell him bye. Let it soak in. Bye,